I'm Tony Craig. I play Jack Huey on Due South.
I am Catherine Bruyere.
Hey everyone, this is Ramona Milano, otherwise known as Francesca Vecchio.
This is Paul Haggis, and you're listening to Due South by Southeast.
I wish this podcast would carry me away, but while talking to Squeaky and Michelle get a word in edgeways, record over a bottle of rum on the dock of Southampton Bay. Hey, Due South, that is what we're talking about. Due South. Saddle up my microphone, give the Finn Baker a bone. Due South by Southeast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Due South by Southeast. I am Detective Squeak. Oh my, oh. With me as always is, of course, Willow. Wolf Willow. Oh, you can just see it on there. Wolf Willow's there. And I guess I probably should mention Monty Michelle.
Hey. Oh, thank you, Willow. That was a nice introduction.
I love the fact that just before we went live, by the way, I'm draped in the Canadian flag as we record this. Just before we went live, you were saying it's like, oh, we've got 4 people watching. And as soon as I did, like suddenly we're down to 1.
We're down to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame them.
And that one, I believe, is our
Sarah.
good friend, Sarah,
Sarah.
Kirk. How are you? I hope you're well today. Yeah, this is a little bit of a sneak attack surprise episode of Due South by Southeast.
Yes.
So essentially, look, it can be tough to schedule the show. Like, I've got nothing much going on. I've got this. I've got my radio show. I've got a bit of writing. But, you know, like, look, I'm a middle-aged man. It's not like I'm going out anywhere. So I'm, by and large, quite available. But one of us is an NHS nurse, selfishly. So sometimes she works a lot of hours and isn't very available to record a podcast. And when we occasionally meet up, we want to have some drinks as opposed to recording a podcast, as much as we love doing this. But it is lovely to be back, guys. Hope you're well. Hope you're all surviving. Well, can be some challenging times, not only in this country, but around the world. We're here to give Due South its due, one episode at a time. Michelle, what episode are we going to be talking about in a bit?
Eclipse.
Why was it like that?
It looks people can't see my microphone here, and it just looks like I went really weird then. I was trying to. Anyway, it didn't work. Don't worry. Sorry.
I think it's because you're quite short. You see, because you can barely get on camera there.
I know,
Michelle.
but then you've got the higher chair than me. How is
Michelle,
this fair? The shortest
Michelle,
person.
I'm on a little stool. You're on a kind of high chair. I don't know why you would say this.
Look, you enjoy being taller than me. You make sure you get the higher chair than me.
No, it's from a back, actually. I'm quite an old man. I did say this.
Yeah. That's what he says.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the size difference here. I mean, I look tiny.
Yeah, because you are tiny. I keep on raising this.
But
one.
I don't have to look it when we're sitting down, is my point.
Anyway, enough of this. We have a Due South episode to talk about.
We do.
But let's open it up before we get to anything. With a salute to Gordon Pinson.
Oh.
Now, I don't give a damn tootin' what the rules say. Michelle, have we put Gordon Pinson in the Mini Manti Club Golden Circle?
He's already there.
He is already there. Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah,
otherwise, that would be oversight. Oversight.
I looked earlier on because I was curious as well. He's already there.
Shall
Can we put like an extra star
Should we
next to
do
him
it
or something?
first? We've never done this. Shall we put his character in?
Ooh. Okay.
So,
I did not. Okay. I didn't bring my pen up with me.
oh, this one over there. It's just by the bottle of cherry 7-Up.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to put what was the What's the sad name? Was it just Benson Fraser Senior?
Yes, we'll go with that.
Remind us if you know
Yeah.
the first name of Benny's dad on the show. Is it just Benny Fraser?
Mr. Fraser.
Benson Fraser Senior? Is that it?
Might be.
Yeah, Sarah Kirk has put rightly R.I.P. Gordon C.A. Yeah, Gordon Pinson.
Yeah.
Bob Fraser.
Bob. Yes.
Bob Fraser.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Oh, someone's paying attention. Thank
Yeah.
you, Sarah.
So we're going to actually put his character into Mini Mountain Club Golden Circle. This is the first. We've never done this before, folks. Exciting
Salute you,
times.
Bob.
Salute you, Bob. But what a character. I mean, it was, the thing was, they didn't know when they shot the pilot if this was going to go to series or not. And the fact that they took such pains over the casting right from the pilot is something which I've always highlighted. The thing which I think it's what set it apart. That's the reason why so often with pilots you get quite a lot of the cast who don't make it. And okay, there were quite a few subsidiary characters in the pilot of Due South which didn't make it through to the series, and we know Walsh got recast, but I believe that's because the actor wasn't available. But either way, that happened,
and we're not disappointed with the outcome.
No, not at all, not at all. With the greatest respect for first Walsh. However, you've got like Francesca carried forward from the pilot.
Yep.
You've got Benny's dad who dies in the pilot, which only in a show like Due South could be the beginning of a beautiful character.
Yeah.
But you got quite a few of these kind of like periphery characters who went on to be in the show. And I just thought it was the heart, and it was also the just sheer comedy you could bring to it. And it's like when he's saying to Benny, it's like, avenge me, son, avenge me. He's like, I'm not going to shoot him. He's just out and out telling his son to shoot someone to avenge him.
You know, it's so disappointing that the episode we watched today, he wasn't in it. That would have just been perfect if he was in it today.
It is a great shame, but just, and I say, you know, there was some other great moments when he held out his hand to the person who shot him, and it fell to the ground, and he goes, but like your hand isn't there. It's like, yeah, but I had to offer it anyway. And it was both kind of heartfelt and comedic at the same time. It's a rare skill, I think, to be able to do that. I always compare it to Only Fools and Horses, and Due South had that in spades, that ability to have something which was both funny and heartfelt in the same breath. It was sometimes in the same moment, let alone a moment afterwards in other scenes. And he personified that. No one on the cast who I've spoken to, and I've spoken to quite a few of the cast by now, have had a bad word to say about him. They just always say about what they learned from him. He did seem like he was the elder statesman of the set, and he would teach them so much about acting and about, you know, just that great ability to switch from drama to comedy. So a big R.I.P.
Oh, he was fantastic, wasn't he?
Yeah. Have you got a favorite moment you want to? That springs to mind. Sorry, I know I'm putting you on the spot there.
I don't know so much about favorite moment. I don't know why I always think of him in his hat.
Yes,
it's him.
Well,
him
the back cut off.
The back, yeah, yeah. I just that was just always the thing that just always made me giggle a bit with him. It's just so funny.
And actually, we have got that to look forward to, because even though he wasn't in the episode we watched today, he becomes he gets a bit more regular, I think, as the next series or two series, depending on which region you're in. You know, so in the UK it was one series, in US and Canada it was two series for series 3 and 4, but it was just series 3 for here for us, or season 3 and 4. Anyway, I digress. So Sarah, whenever I think of cabin music, I hear his voiceover. Yeah. It's weird. It got me thinking of the song Ride Forever, and something about like when the angels call, it's only then we might pull in the reins. And it's about these kind of great people who just never stop until their last breath. And it seemed like he was a working actor right to the end. And the angels called, and only then he pulled in the reins. So R.I.P. Gordon Pinson, Ride Forever. So let's pivot straight from that into our features. I haven't got my iPad to hand, so I'm just going to do this a cappella. Yo ho ho, we're getting drunk as hell. Tell me this. What rum are we drinking, Michelle? Musical.
Wow, I know.
back up from my phone there.
Yeah, that was a bit special.
Yeah.
Much
Much like you, Michelle.
Well, of course. So we've got 2 here. I'm gonna go. I'll show you the
Do you want
one.
to put them on the camera?
Yeah. Well, the one
That's not on camera at all.
I'm going to pick it up.
It's like,
Oh
I was
my
you got one,
goodness.
like you're pointing to it. They can't see.
See, if I was to get a
You
word
see
in
that screen-
edgeways.
You see the screen in front of us where you can see what they're
Yeah,
seeing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the rum isn't in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So they're not seeing it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Should I try and finish my sentence and we'll see where I'm going?
Yeah. I can't see why that would be helpful.
I was going to say, I'll start
Oh,
off.
one thing I was going to ask you.
Oh my goodness. I was going to start off by showing you the one that we've got now, the one that's in our glass now. I was going to pick up and show to the camera, believe
See,
it or not.
in this glass, I showed them the glass, you see.
Dead Man's Fingers Mango.
And we're definitely on the Michelle measures tonight. It's a little dicey tonight. I'm not going to lie. We're going to see the wonderful Zoe Lyons, who's playing at the Eastleigh at the Point, just up the road from us here in the UK. A wonderful comedian, and we've had a few already. I mean, it's the chances of things going off the rails. It's there. It's all I'm saying. It's
It should be a
certainly
fun
there.
night. It'll be a fun
Should
night.
be a fun
It'll
night
be a
for anyone
giggle.
but the rest of the audience.
Yeah, not for them, but for
But
us.
that's hilarious.
We won't mind.
Yeah.
And we might have next. Maybe we'll go for this one. I'll show you.
Oh,
This might be difficult to see on camera.
this was a birthday or Christmas present.
Does
I
that-
can't remember which because my birthday's in December. But it was one of them from
Yeah.
Michelle. It's
Does
such
that look
a lovely.
too dark?
Yeah, you can't read it, but look how cool does that look.
Diablo spiced rum. With his eyes, look at his eyes, very spooky. We need this one on Halloween, don't we?
Yeah, we've totally wasted that. On,
Yeah, 100% wasted it.
No, it's an absolutely gorgeous rum, though. It's if anyone's ever tried Cloven Hoof, which one of the rums we've featured on this podcast before, that's an absolutely lovely one. It's got more cloves than the traditional spices which are used in rum. Absolutely lovely, and that's got that, but it's the spice is a little bit more refined flavor, and it's added a few other notes as well, and it's just really lovely. But I'd highly recommend both those. Cloven Hoof, absolutely lovely, by the way, has got a real kick of cloves, which is nice.
Yeah, I was going
This
to say,
nice
shall I read
smooth
out
one.
what it says?
Yeah, please do.
Gorgeous tones of vanilla,
Gorgeous,
gorgeous
gorgeous.
vanilla, caramel, cinnamon, orange peel, and raisin. I don't think I've ever had that in a rum.
No, and I can taste the raisin, but I'll
Lovely. Yeah,
I'll look for it this time.
it's very nice.
Yeah, when you
we
pour
like
it,
it.
remind me raisin.
Yeah.
And speaking of raisin things up, Sarah Kirk, I'm on the Earl Grey tea at the moment. So is that tea Earl Grey hot? Perfect. Picard is back at the moment.
I'm just going to pretend I know what you're talking about.
Right, Jean-Luc Picard. He was the captain of the Enterprise NCC 1701D,
I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry.
and he's now got a new show called Picard, Star Trek Picard. And they
Okay.
brought this series for the first time. They brought back all the members of the Next Generation cast together.
Lovely.
That's very exciting for me. And I'm just going to drop my headphones right there. So I hope you're enjoying your TL Grey Hot, and I hope you're enjoying the latest series of Picard if you're watching it. It is great.
I'm sure it is.
Oh yeah. We haven't done this though. We sort of
Ooh.
did an impromptu one. We haven't done the main mini Mountie Club. Eh? Here you got, Michelle.
No one.
Yeah, I didn't prep one either. Shall we just say the Gold Circle membership for a fictional character is
That
the one? this week?
100% works. Unless somebody wants to comment now and say, can I be in the
Yeah, does
exclusive
anyone
club?
either want to be a mini Mountie club or want to nominate a mini Mountie?
Yeah. Any pets? If you've got a pet, we
Actually,
can add your pets.
So I'm gonna.
If you just thought of someone.
I think someone wrote a message to
Ooh.
us on Messenger somehow through Due South.
This could be an exclusive right here.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember how to find the message.
Yeah, you need to find out.
This could take a second.
This could take a while.
Can you
This is
Vamp,
no.
vamp,
Oh,
talk to the people.
the people. Hello, people. So Sarah, we know you're all ready in our club. But do you know anyone? Is anyone that is watching? Would you like to be in it? Do you know anyone that you would like to nominate? They don't need to know. We're not going to send them a letter or anything.
No, we will assume you've got their consent.
Yes. Although I was rewriting out the whole mini Mountie
And
list
if they're
earlier
your
on.
kids, by the way, you can make the decision on their behalf.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of animals in our club. So we are hello, Facebook user.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure who you are, but would you like to be in our exclusive club? Or maybe we can.
Okay.
Have you got it?
I don't know if I've read this out on the show. It came into me. Oh no, this came in a few years ago. Okay. No, I don't know. I thought someone had messaged it.
Maybe we can find it for the next time.
Yeah, maybe we could.
Yeah.
And not spend the whole show with me looking at my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Ines Stepat who is in Jesus. Welcome.
Hello there.
If anyone thinks of anyone they want to recommend for Mini Mountain Club, just let us know. In the meantime,
no.
Why can you not see my name?
I don't know.
Right. So with StreamYard, to put comments onto so we can see the name, you've got to give it permission. So it should ask somewhere on the screen if you want to give permissions to add your name. It doesn't do anything else. It just gives them permission to be able to publish your name and put your picture in. Loads of people have used it and it hasn't mined any data or anything else or messaged you about anything else. Because I know people are a bit worried about this stuff. Fair enough. Exactly. And hi guys from other Facebook user. Hello everyone.
Hey!
We're really, really overjoyed to have you here. We know we didn't announce this in advance. So I think that's all the orders of business we do before, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we should crack on now.
So let's speak about the episode. So let's
do this.
Who's this one written and directed by?
Oh, you did not ask me to look that up. That is 100% your job.
I didn't do it though.
I'm like, well, that's your problem. That's not a me problem.
I don't think I can blame you. I'm very good at it.
No, I'm
not.
Is
it? Michelle's. There you go. It's great.
I'm not taking this one.
Sorry, our screen's gone a bit weird. Just give me a second.
Technical issues.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys. So I might have to just switch screen off and back on. So you might hear some weird sounds for a second here.
Well, they're quite fun sounds, to be fair.
Basically, I'm using an old TV as a monitor, and it every now and again decides it's just going to reframe the window so I can't see anything. So I have to play around with this. So we're now on to 5 or 6 viewers just when I'm playing about with the TV. Right, we're back. Guys, so you're right in time to hear all about the episode duet. So Ines,
we can
see
see you.
now.
Oh, I like your picture. Fire lady.
Yeah, actually, is
Very
that what
cool.
you do for a living? I've never asked you. Anyway, yeah.
Or just having fun.
Here. We're really lovely to. We are really lovely.
We're really lovely.
We're really lovely to see you.
We're really lovely, and we hope you are too.
As I mentioned, we might have been drinking a bit already.
Come on, we've not had that much that you're starting to talk rubbish.
I mean, what do you mean? You say that as if I need alcohol to talk rubbish.
That's a good point.
So this is Eclipse. This was, I can find the credits.
Dear. Amateur
directed
hour.
by Richard. Directed by Richard J. Lewis. Writers Paul Haggis, created by and John Krasinski, written by John Krasinski. That's how we're going to pronounce it. Yes, firefighter for 33 years. Thank you very much for keeping people safe.
Yeah, amazing.
And who is the other Facebook user, though? We want to hear who you are. Just we're very excited to have you here. So yeah, how does this episode start, Michelle?
As always, it's a good start. So to begin with, we've got some people just storming down the corridor of the precinct. We didn't know who they were to start with. So internal affairs, and I didn't write down who the big guy was. It was like district attorney kind of a guy.
Yeah, he's like the one in charge of the.
He was a douche.
Yeah, he was a douche.
We didn't like him. Didn't like him. Didn't write down who he was.
No, he doesn't get it.
So they are basically storming into the precinct because they are investigating. For a minute, I thought that was us having technical issues. Sorry, Sarah.
No,
Just
sorry.
so-
The camera on this, for some reason, it's very sensitive. If you accidentally jog the wire slightly, everything goes haywire. So I apologize if that happens, or if our video switched out for just a minute. Michelle,
yeah.
you're just ridiculously short on that chair.
It's a smaller chair than
Have you got the
yours.
cushion underneath
I'm
you?
sitting on the cushion.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going to bring my own cushion next time.
Do you want a pillow as well?
Oh, go on then.
Oh, sorry. This is what I mean about the camera. Oh, you see, cushion's coming out. There you go. So we've now got Michelle on her high chair. So our camera's back on.
Yay!
And you still can't see you.
I'm still.
Do you want to move over
Yeah,
slightly?
I've got my hands full.
Move the chair.
I'm coming. Oh my goodness. Right, I've got a cushion and a pillow, and I'm still tiny. Don't think there's much more we can do today.
Yeah, now it's just your height we're working against. I don't think using the Canadian flag to hide my dressing gown's really working.
You should just rock the dressing.
Sorry, it's just cold over here.
It's cold. I know. I feel like we shouldn't complain about the cold though, because in Canada they're probably like, yeah, it's -40 over here. What are you talking about? But anyway, we're feeling it. So there's a probe into the corruption in the district.
Dun,
Dun,
dun, dun.
dun.
And they very quickly say that the person who's in charge of the investigation, that Walsh put away his brother or his cousin. Is it brother or cousin?
Brother.
I wasn't sure for a second, but I was like, "What's his? Is that a guy who played one of the Eggmen?" And it was. And so I assume that's in canon that he is his own cousin within the show, which I quite liked. I like that. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Very
That's
cool.
good.
Yeah. So there was beef between this guy and Walsh, and it was quite funny. Yeah, there was some beef going
There
on.
was some big beef.
Yeah, we were enjoying the pettiness as well, weren't we? Of the this guy said to Walsh at one point, "Oh, are you still a lieutenant?" And Walsh just looked back and goes, "Oh, are you still a jerk?" Or something like
Yeah.
that.
It was a very social face kind of like answer to an argument, which was very enjoyable.
We liked it.
Yeah.
We like Walsh. You know, like I say, Walsh is normally so professional, and then just to see him just
I think that's why it's so enjoyable, because it's like when someone gets under someone's skin and no matter how professional they are,
Yeah.
they just break and they just say something really childish, and there's nothing more enjoyable.
we enjoyed it.
Unless you're the person who's broken.
And so it becomes very clear that they want to speak to Ray Vecchio.
Yes.
And there's no sign of him, or the
Yep.
substitute Ray Vecchio. There's no sign of him. They're trying to get hold of him, and then they cut to a scene where the new Ray is preparing his drink.
Yes, I've always wondered. I don't know if anyone's got any insight into this, but I always wondered if the thing he's putting into his, what is it, coffee, or is it already hot chocolate for a start?
Yeah.
Is he adding M&Ms or is that Smarties? I don't know if in Canada or America they've got some version of Smarties, or if they have Smarties themselves. I think they've got Smarties, but like, is it just
No
assumed
idea.
it's M&Ms? What is he put, or Skittles maybe even? What's he putting into his drink?
Very strange, didn't it?
But yeah, he crushes them up and then puts them in. I'm guessing they
Yeah.
can't be Skittles because they seem to crush up a little bit. Does he?
Maybe it was
Crush them?
M&Ms.
No, he
Maybe.
pours them in. Does he crush them first?
No, I think once they're in there, then he starts crushing them, doesn't he?
That's it. Yeah, he uses
Yeah.
the spoon, crush, then stir. Yeah.
Anyway, he's got this dramatic music playing, and then there's just phone call after phone call after phone call, where the station's like calling him, like, "You need to come in. We need you to come in." He's just ignoring them all. He's on a bit of a mission.
Yeah.
But we had no idea what he was doing, but he was on a mission for something. And then it cuts back to, I just absolutely love this scene. It cuts back to the precinct, and Walsh is speaking to Benny. He's just walking down the corridor, and there's like no questions asked, but he's walking down the corridor with a cabbage in one hand and a bag with fish and water in the other. Like, it's the most normal thing.
It's such a wonderful due south moment when you're just walking down a corridor with those two items, and it just seems so part of the course with the show.
Yeah, if it was anyone else, Walsh would have questioned him, but he's like, okay, like,
Yeah,
ask.
let's just leave it. It'll
Let's
come
just
up
leave
if
it.
it's important. And I think this is a great episode for showing how the tone has shifted from the first two series to this one, whereby you do have these kind of very high comedic moments. It is hilarious. It is very much in the tradition of the show, but you definitely see the comedy dialed up and the drama. Like, I mean, the drama's definitely still there, but I think it was perhaps more swing towards the drama earlier on, and this is more swing towards the comedy. It's still very enjoyable, but it's definitely a different formula,
Yeah.
I guess, on it.
It was definitely very comedic, and then Walsh wants a private word with Benny, so then they go into a cupboard.
Yes.
Just having this bizarre conversation in a cupboard, holding this cabbage and a fish. And then somebody just like opens the door, don't they? And they're like, what have I walked in?
Yeah, I just want some toilet paper, and they just hands him a file.
Take it and get out.
But it was like some paper or something that he had in his hand. He hands him not some toilet roll.
He basically sends him on a mission, doesn't he, to go and track down Ray and bring him to the.
I thought you meant the guy who was going for a poo. It's like, sends him on a mission to track down what toilet paper.
Won't find it in here.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that I could just imagine that this is what Benny does for Ray every year on his birthday. Gets this fish for Bobby.
It's like it's Ray's. Yes, I can't remember who questioned him. Was it Elaine?
Well,
someone asked him.
Said, yeah, Elaine asks, and then they say that it's Ray Becker's birthday, so every year he makes a celebration of it.
Yeah.
And now, are we saying that that's Benny doing his celebration because Ray isn't there to direct it himself? Or is this something that Benny does every year?
Because you could see with, old Ray, Benny would be like, right, well, I've got some traditional things, we'll do this and that. And Ray would just be like, no, we're going to the pub.
Yeah, we're going to the pub.
We're going to play some pool.
Yeah.
And this year, Benny's like, right, I can do what I want. I'm bringing the fish and the cabbage.
But it's a bit where I think that Benny, being such a stickler for the rules and everything, he would want to act like it would be if Ray Vecchio was here.
Yeah.
So either he's done this for Ray Vecchio before, or Benny in his mind thinks that Ray would be right up for this night, which I don't put past him either.
Oh, great stuff though. Yes. When they are asked, well, oh my goodness, so when Benny is asked, what's all this about? I'm sorry, I can't talk. The whole fish in the bag thing, he explains it, goes, well, we're going to go bobbing for trout. Like it was the most normal thing to say. Bobbing for trout.
Yeah, not bobbing for apples. No, apples aren't very plentiful in the Yukon.
I can't remember.
Which is a great comeback, because they wouldn't be.
I can't remember what the cabbage was for now. Maybe just as a snack. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no. What did they use the cabbage for? We should have made a note.
Yeah, no, I didn't make a note.
Michelle, come on.
Sorry, I was so struck by the bobbing for a trout. So then we cut back to Ray, and he's heading off to a graveyard, and I liked that he bumps into the. Was he like the caretaker for the graveyard?
Yes.
He bumps into, and he was kind of like, "Oh, can you let me into that mausoleum?" He's like, "No, you're still alive."
Yeah.
He was like, "Well,
would some money help?" It's like, I don't take money bribes.
He gives him this whole bottle of scotch.
Yeah, I love the whole thing about single malt, and he goes, it's like, this is broken. It's like it's not broken. It's like it's otherwise like the liquid would be on the floor. Yes, but I can't get to liquid, so it's broken.
So it's not working. How does a bottle not work?
And then he just sliced the top off, and the guy's drinking away from it. Like, that's not safe. Like, he's gonna cut his lips to shreds.
Where was the health and safety assessment there?
Where? Ridiculous. I mean, he's an alcoholic. He's not an idiot. Like, he's not going to drink glass.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, you sieve that stuff before you drink it, surely.
Yeah, please.
Come on, people.
We're worried about you.
So he goes into the mausoleum, and he's got some binoculars, and he's looking at it. So it becomes clear that he's doing a bit of a stakeout in a graveyard. He's watching some people.
Yeah.
We didn't really know what was going on at that point. And then obviously Benny's trying to find Ray, so he goes to his apartment, and the landlady lets him in.
Oh, I love this scene because it was really nice. It was like, I like the way you slowly find out information about the second Ray. They don't tell you all about him straight away. And like when they're looking around the flat, and Diefenbaker's played detective by rolling up a mat, so you can see these like feet on the ground. So the woman's going, it's like he was just kept on tapping on the roof, but like rhythmically, and then they're going, it's like, or maybe dancing, and it's like they've got these dance steps and things. I like the fact that Diefenbaker thought to look.
Yeah.
It's like the carpet's already up, and Diefenbaker's
Like his
standing
paws
over
like on it,
yeah.
like, hi,
Yeah,
look what I found.
Diefenbaker found that clue, and that's. I like the fact Diefenbaker isn't just a dog there.
He's not just a dog; he's part of the team.
He is definitely, yeah. He finds out clues.
He is detecting.
Yeah.
That might be me making the tech go a bit funny. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's more on it than Paw Patrol.
Yes.
I only wish.
Yeah, I did write down the dancing
I thought you were
detective.
going to say you wrote down. Paw
No, I
Patrol.
didn't. I wrote down the dancing detective.
Nice. I like it.
Just bringing that in. The one yeah, so he sees this newspaper. Oh, that's me going off, sorry.
I thought it was your phone.
No, it was me.
Yeah.
That's throwing me off. So Benny sees the newspaper where Ray has circled a funeral. So he heads down to the graveyard, and that's where he finds Ray. But then it goes back to the precinct again, and I felt really bad for Elaine. We see quite a bit of Elaine in this
found out
episode.
her surname,
We did.
which I don't think's ever in it previously.
Vespras. Oh, what was it? Vesprase? Vesprase? Vespras? I can't.
We can't remember her surname
Yeah,
now,
we
but you
can't
do
remember.
hear it.
Do
I
you hear
don't
it?
think it was featured previously. But they keep referring to her by her surname,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird. It's like, it's late. Come on.
I felt really bad for her because Walsh asks her to do something. She sits down to do it, and then the investigators like call her to go and be interrogated. And just the way she goes, for a minute I thought I was going to act like a real detective. I was
Yeah,
like,
'cause- and they start laying
Elaine.
down the track for her leaving because it's like about her.
Never
I'm
progressing.
just a couple of weeks
and-
away from becoming a cop, and
Mm,
now this. It's sad to see these first signs of her leaving. She's amazing. We love Elaine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also sad for her. Yeah, then it heads back to like Ray and Benny.
Oh,
and...
Desbris. Thank you, Sarah Kirk.
Oh yeah, we might have misheard.
Unlike Sonic.
God, Sarah, she's got
When
all.
you say we might, Michelle's notes, not mine. I just shout stuff to her to write down because I'm too lazy.
That is exactly right.
That is exactly right.
Exactly right.
That's true to the T.
Yeah, so we have these chats with Ray and Benny in this mausoleum because Ray doesn't really want to tell Benny what's going on at first, and then Benny goes off on a story about a stakeout, doesn't he? Where he spent 72 hours laying in a caraboose? Was that
think so, yeah.
Caraboose carcass? And he never
Caribou. cards.
caribou. Sorry, caribou.
I don't know
What
what
did I say?
caraboose is. You said
I think I
caraboose.
just made that up.
Caribou.
Caribou carcass. He said he never knew who he was taking out. You think,
Yeah.
oh dear, Benny.
It was a wonderful Benny story, and I like the fact that it's the way he comes in. He just comes in, he talks to him, and he's kind of like he does state the importance and what relies on what's happening. I still don't understand though why someone can't phone up the internal affairs and basically goes like, right, well, he's undercover, so you can't blow his cover by asking these questions. The
Yeah,
actual
exactly.
Ray Vecchio isn't available. Once he's finished with this mission, we will make him available to you. Or, you have to weigh up then if the anti-corruption overrides his current mission and how deep undercover he is. Why none of this is what's at stake as opposed to like, we'll just assume that the new Ray Vecchio can sort it out.
Yeah,
It does seem weird
It's
that they
mad,
don't.
isn't it?
It's so like the premise is slightly flawed, is what I'm saying. But once you get past that, it is a very fun episode. But yeah. So I like the way that he kind of like wins over his trust. He doesn't try to force the issue, try and make him leave. He basically sits with him and finds out why he's there and why this is so important to him. It's a very Benny.
it's very Benny, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's very
good.
Benny.
Yeah.
And
Benny.
then and then I wrote down something you asked me to write down: bad hours, bad food, and bad guys.
Oh, that was the line from Ray Kowalski. Yeah. Bad hours, bad food, and bad guys. It was such a wonderful cop show line. It's just great.
Yeah.
And it sums up where he's starting at. That's how he feels about the job. And Benny then gives a wonderful speech which shows where he's coming from, like, and how much he cares and all this stuff. And it's just a lovely line. Very well written. I love it. A cheesy but still really good line.
It's not bad,
Yeah.
like, but it is cheesy. Let's face it. But it's great.
It was great.
Yeah.
And then Ray's looking out of the mausoleum, and he's watching Diefenbaker, who's got some flowers.
Oh,
Oh my
Diefenbaker,
goodness, I love this
first
so
of all,
much.
It looks like Diefenbaker's just grabbed some flowers he's running off with, and then he takes them to a doggy.
He does.
A doggy grave.
Yeah, he's like paws up and barking at this doggy grave, and Benny makes this comment about how he was good at horticulture or something.
Yeah. And then he goes, his is a oh, did I get you to write that one down as well? The about his being a sensitive and empathetic.
Yeah, I think that was a bit later on, but yeah, I did write that down.
Yeah, just made me think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, then there was some people in the background in the graveyard that Ray was looking at as well. Oh, Diefenbaker was ace, Sari, 100%.
Yeah.
And something's going. It wasn't the people that he was staking out, but he could feel that something was going on. So he goes out to see what was going on. I think he pretends to be the son of the woman in the coffin. There's a coffin I think that's been dug up or something. They're putting it in a van, and Ray's like, "Oh, that's my mum in there." And they're like, "No, that's not your mum."
Yeah, and he pulls it back and goes like, "Oh, mum, you're looking like some Cuban cigars
Cuban
now."
cigars. Yeah, so he arrests these guys that have got these cigars, but then he refuses to take them to the police station because he's on this stakeout.
Yeah.
So he's having this argument with Benny, and Benny's like, "No, it has to be you that takes him. You were arresting him."
The arresting officer has to get him back to the station house forthwith, and basically quotes the regulation at him, and he's going like, "I'm not doing it." So he goes, "Why don't you take him back?" It's like, "Well, I'm not the arresting officer."
Although I think I did skip the bit with the whole shootout, didn't I? Was there a shootout on this? Yes, this was the shootout. I've skipped the whole shootout.
You skipped the shootout.
I've skipped it, so we'll go back. I think Ray's like, "Pull out your gun" to like Benny. And Benny's like, "I don't have a gun, but if you guys could just step aside, and my colleague will go through your Miranda rights."
I don't care how many times they do this in G South. I love whenever Benny just without a gun just stands up to the bad guys, and they just basically goes like, "You've got no gun. What you gonna do?" And he just talks his way down, and then fights his way out without a gun.
You've got to love his confidence, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's the same scene which is done so many times, and every time they make it new and funny.
Yeah, and there's this whole shootout that goes on throughout the graveyard. They're running, they're shooting, and then as they're running from like gravestone to gravestone, trying not to be shot, Benny is just pulling out this birthday present and talking him through this dream. He's got his dream catcher.
It's the best. He just gives this whole speech as they're running, saying it's like. So first of all, you've got to be lucky enough for one of these particular type of vehicles to pass away of natural causes.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got to have someone who comes across the carcass and has the presence of mind to put it on ice and send it back to the correct territory. Then you have to hope that a shaman doesn't need it for some ritual reasons, which of course take precedence over wanting to buy a gift for a friend. It is just so beautiful.
It's just mad, isn't it?
So perfectly due south. I would believe that probably is the protocol that if you're going to get one of these leaves to make a dream catcher, you have to go through all this. It is great. I love it. It is just it is one of those due south moments.
Yeah,
perfect due south moments.
And that's quite a lot to go through for someone that you don't really know as well, because he's not giving it to the Ray he knows.
Well,
all of this is for a Ray he doesn't know yet.
Well, there is something which we'll get to, which just maybe he does know him more than the amount of time they've known each other.
Okay.
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 Okay, girlfriend. I don't know what accent I was.
And then it cuts to a scene where Diefenbaker, he's going back to this grave with the dog, and he's actually arranging the flowers. He's actually doing some flower arranging on this grave.
Deef.
Deef.
Just amazing. Actually, I think as the show gets sillier, I think the more they do character development for Deef.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, you're going to see this coming up, Michelle, because I know there's some of these you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to more Deef. And then we cut back to the precinct, and we see Tony getting, our Tony Craig getting interrogated.
Tito Craig. I can't believe before I interviewed him, I never realized he was a musician. because when I look at him now, he looks like the coolest of the guys in the charts during the 80s. Like, you know, if there was I'm just going to say it, the haircut, which was like favored by black guys, and it was just like just that really cool, sharp, like cut, which he's got like a little bit of a line through there. His hair is perfectly manicured. He just looks like a really cool musician. He is just yeah. Anyway, he's very cool. Yeah, so he gets grilled out.
Yeah, so he gets a grilling.
He does.
He does. And then we have Ray and Benny back at the mausoleum, and the guys that they've arrested.
You
They
say
just-
mausoleum.
Mausoleum. What am I saying?
Sounds like Muslim.
Yeah.
The mausoleum.
Mausoleum.
Like a Muslim, like a thing which kids have. Muslim.
Okay. Mausoleum. I don't know.
Sounds fine.
I don't know.
Mausoleum, isn't it?
Yes, these mausoleum. That's what
Mausoleum.
I don't know. Oh my god.
Tony Craig is cool.
He's so
Yeah, he is
cool.
really cool.
We like
He's
him.
just got a great. It's like a hip hop. Like I think a lot of the hip hop guys had their kind of like it was really square, and just a little height, but not very tall. Very cool.
Definitely a hairstyle of the times, wasn't it?
Oh, it's great. And it still looks sharp.
Of course. Yeah, so because Ray didn't want to leave his stake out, so the guys that
Oh,
he
the mausoleum.
I'm not saying it anymore. The guys that he arrested, he just locks them up in there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they can just stay there till I'm ready to go. Oh, we have another comment about our lovely Tony.
Let's step out. I love Tony's character. It is great.
It's a
funny.
great character.
And it's like I don't think it gives too much away that he does get another partner in some time in the series. But it's nice to have just like him having these little comedy moments just to himself.
Yeah.
It's a nice little I like the fact they gave a bit of breathing space
Mm.
between his partner dying and then just not chucking another character into the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I like that he didn't break under the interrogation either.
No,
And they were saying to him, like, you could have Walsh's job.
yeah. You don't
Oh,
you don't turn old T-Dog Craig.
no. That was one of my most favorite bits of this episode's coming up. Yeah, so these guys are locked up, and then
Did they have
oh my
empty
goodness,
glasses when they
I
were
don't have
there?
an empty glass though.
Well,
I'm not
you have
there
to
yet.
drink quicker. And I wasn't even thinking that.
Oh
But
my goodness. Shots were fired in the graveyard.
the shots weren't poured though, were they?
No, they weren't. No,
No.
they weren't. You can go ahead. You can pour yourself a drink while and I'll
Okay.
pour myself
Fine,
one.
maybe I will.
Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah, so they hear some shots being fired out in the graveyard and they go running out there. And it's an elderly lady firing shots into her husband's
I love
grave.
this. Again, perfectly due south. The fact that yeah, she said the reasoning was that he was scared of what was he scared of that he needed lead in there?
It was agoraphobic.
Agoraphobic. But how did the lead help?
That was to stop the insects eating him or something.
Yeah, that
wasn't
was
it?
insects.
Yeah.
But one they just buried with a bit of lead. I love the fact that she just went, it's like, oh, it just makes me feel a bit better to shoot some lead into him every few months. I don't know if it works, but it makes me feel great. I love that reasoning.
Oh my
It was
god.
great.
It was so funny because like Benny tackles her
Yeah.
and then you've got this weird moment where this elderly lady is led on the ground with Benny led on top of her and she's
Michelle was there going, bitch.
and then she's being all a bit flirty with him, but she's quite old.
He was afraid of acrobats.
Yes, that's what Ray said, wasn't it?
I can't remember. What was the acrobat
When
one?
she said, "Oh, he was agoraphobic,"
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah.
Ray
Agoraphobic,
goes, "Scared of acrobats."
Yeah, no, that was nice. That was very well done. Yeah, no, but I just love it. It just classic G South balminess. Of course, you just bury. Probably she did bury him with a bit of lead and just does that anyway because it makes her feel
Makes her
better.
feel better.
Great, I love it. And yeah, Michelle just drooling at that bit. It's like, oh,
But,
what a
oh my
lucky
goodness.
lady.
And then she's like, "Oh, it's."
She's so tall. She said.
But then this old woman's going, "Oh, I can feel it's really stiff or something." And then and then Benny was like, "What is?" She's like, "My leg."
Yes, acrobats. I mean, sometimes English. Right? No,
No,
you
it's
were
good.
You're right. I was just trying to remember the bit.
Yeah.
No, acrobatics. Perfect.
Um,
And then she ends up in the mausoleum with them all as well. There's like a little gang of them now, and I'm not
In the
gonna.
what?
I'm not saying it again. I'm not repeating it. I'm gonna call it something else. The crypt. They're all in the crypt.
and then the mausoleum.
Yeah, you can say you say that one. I'm sticking to crypt. Anyways, and then this episode just gets weirder and weirder. So they're in a crypt, in a graveyard. They've got people locked up, an old woman being silly, flirty with them.
Yes.
And
I mean, it becomes a sort of play. It's a sort of
Yeah.
play within the episode whereby you've got 4 characters, or no, 5 characters in a mausoleum or crypt, if you will.
I will.
And just there's 5 of them there, and it just it's this wonderful character piece whereby you've got. And again, I can just picture this play whereby you've got 2 central characters who are police officers of some description, and you've got 3 other people who are there who are like 2 criminals and 1 old lady's wound up in there. I love the fact that it's just this congruence, and it feels like this would work as a play. You could rewrite this
just
as a
in this
play.
setting.
Yeah, you could and you just have to have one other set which appears in the margins. Like, you know how in some plays they've got the foreground, and then off on one side you might have a little scene.
Yeah.
For just a scene.
Yeah.
You could have the things in the station there. This would actually really work as a play quite well.
Yeah. Then you just have this weird moment where Ray just turns around to Benny and is like, "Do you think I'm attractive?"
Yeah, it's great. And he
Like-
goes, it's like, if you're a woman, he goes, yes. And he goes, really? And he goes, well, I'm not best to answer that. Although, Benny, you've been a woman before. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, just pretend you're a woman." And then there's the old woman who's like, "Well, I think you're attractive and I am a woman." And he was like, "Yeah, her opinion doesn't count."
Yeah.
And then the guys that were locked up, they were like, "Yeah, I mean, cute maybe. No, maybe not attractive, but you're cute." They were getting in on the conversation as well.
See, and something I didn't say before when we were watching it, I think it's really cool that both Rays, if you write down their character traits, they're exactly the same, really. Like, there's something I almost said, which I won't give away, but there's another parallel, which I can draw with you later. But you've got the fact that they're both a little bit grumpy. Both think they're absolute players, and they're not as much as they think. Both really do the right thing at the end of the day, but both have a very cynical side. But in action, they're so different. They're such different characters. I think this Ray's a bit more neurotic and he's a bit more honest about the fact that he's vulnerable. I think the other Ray is very vulnerable and very real and very there for his friends, but he doesn't talk so much about his vulnerability, whereas this one kind of does. I think that's the biggest difference. I think that's what makes them quite different, but it's kind of fascinating. They're so similar while being so different.
Yeah,
they've really done a good job with that, I think.
I mean, that was a lot, I think, for Ray to kind of admit, this conversation they go on to have. His wife's just left him. Then they have this bit of a flashback to what happened when he was with his girlfriend at 13, I think they said they were. So they were very young, and they were in a bank, and then there was a bank robbery. It was obviously terrifying. You're a kid, and then he wets himself. I mean, I probably would have.
And it was a bit we picked up because there's this. Yeah. I mean, it's a great scene. The idea that he pees himself, the kind of like the criminal takes the mickey out of him. Really nicely done. The bit which I was a bit more questioning of was there was one of the guys who's being held up at the time, who when Stanley Ray pees himself, he looks up and he looks like, oh, for God's sake, it's like, he's a kid who's just got a gun pulled on him. He's worried about his girlfriend, and you're taking the piss? Like taking the piss quite literally. But he seems to be taking the mickey. I did not approve. I did not like that. I thought he was mean, that guy. In a step in Search of the Holy Grail, I'm sure it was a restaurant. Grail, sorry.
Holy Grail.
Search of the Holy Grail, I'm sure it was a restaurant. Pardon me. Sorry, you're again, Ennis, do not dare say that's because of anything you've written wrong. You wrote it correctly. I read it wrong. Your English is apparently better than mine, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we also see, I think this was the bit you were talking about earlier on. Then outside, Diefenbaker is actually howling by this grave of this dog.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then this is when Benny says his breed is incredibly sensitive. He feels sorrow deeply.
Feels so deeply. It was the
Yeah.
way they word this that is just so rich. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
we do that. And we love Dave. We love him.
Ah, Dave.
We love him. And then it goes back to the priest, and this is when we find out, I think, that the reason that these Walsh has got beef with this guy is because of I'm just saying it like it's a thing now. He's got beef.
It's got beef.
It's because he jailed his brother.
Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again, I'm thinking canonically is their way of saying that it's both of them. You know, it's like he is playing both the brother and himself. Actually, I watched Due South in German, so it may not correct translate it. Not correct translate it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no,
It's
your
definitely
English
possible.
is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah,
Again,
that's very
certainly
good.
better than my German.
And English.
True as well.
And then we're back on. I know where we are. We're back in the crypt. And so it's been quite a heartfelt time with him talking about his past. And I think he's almost at a point where he's kind of giving up on the stakeout as well. We find out that he's looking for this guy. So the guy that held up the bank, he's been trying to track him down for years to get some like revenge and vengeance on this guy.
It's like there's a 2-part step down from it. So it's like, to be honest, he lets it go to a degree. It's like, look, I'm not going to catch this guy today. Benny's charmed me out of it a little bit as well. And he walks away and he's about to do so when he just suddenly gets this thing in his head about if the Dreamcatcher, would fly.
Oh, yeah. Could he use it like a frisbee?
Yeah. And Benny just says there's only one way to find out. And it's just a nice little thing. Again, he chose to walk away and then fate brought him to this guy to give him the ultimate closure.
Yeah.
And it does seem kind of fateful, and it seems somehow in the heightened reality world of Due South, it seems kind of weirdly believable that you could just throw a Dreamcatcher and it happens to hit someone on the head. And it gets that. I mean, I love the way Due South treads that line of like, there's a suggestion of mysticism in a lot of episodes, but they never out and out say it's because of fairies, basically. But they go, maybe it's fairies. It's I like that. And it's like it dares to dream, but it doesn't. It's almost like if you say it's because fairies are real, that takes something away from it for me anyway. Like, I do not believe in fairies, but I like the suggestion of fairies. I like, it could have been fairies. It's nice. It leaves it open to a bit of mysticism and a bit of the charm which comes with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that.
It is charming, isn't it,
Yeah.
yourself? We like the charm. Yes, and then they have this weird kind of then the guy that Ray's been after and Ray, they end up in the grave. They end up in a grave just as the eclipse. Obviously, the episode's called Eclipse. There's an eclipse happens.
This is everything though, this scene, because it's like it's all about how any of us, we've got these things which in life we hold on to, which were the worst moments of our life, which defined us because of how bad we felt in that moment. It led us on a certain path. We've all got the moments like that. And it's the thought that the other person might not remember it at all, even if they were the wanker, even if they were the person, sorry, pardon my language, even if they were the one who did not act properly in that moment and treated you badly. The idea is like, they don't even remember it. It reminds me of like on Room 101, I think it was once. QI, they were talking about 1966 World Cup, and they asked how Germany remembered it. Her answer was they don't.
They don't.
No, how do they refer to it? Like where we refer to it as this great victory, they don't refer to it. They don't remember the because it's just another time they didn't quite make it. Which, like, we've got so many examples in the England in World Cups. It's that thought the other side doesn't even remember. It's like, so what am I holding this grudge for? What's that doing for me? How is that helping me? So it's a moment which always stuck with me from Due South is this moment. Yeah, it's all about just letting go of stuff, because like you're only holding it for yourself, you're not holding it for the other person, because they don't even remember that shit happened.
Yeah, and I think when he realizes that this guy doesn't even remember him, he's like, I did a lot of bang jobs.
Yeah, and he even says like,
Yeah.
thank you for making who I am, a
Yeah.
cop. Making me who I am. Sorry,
Yeah.
a cop. I English me.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Ines, if you can just correct my English, that would be great.
Yeah, he could do with it. Oh, and I love the bit. So when the eclipse is over, and Benny's like looking over the grave, it's just Ray that's in it. So he's let this other guy go, and then Benny helps Ray get out of the grave, but in the process, Benny then falls into it.
Yeah, I love the fluidity of the movement as well, because like
Yeah.
when he's helping him out, Benny falls straight in, and Ray doesn't break a stride.
Nope,
The
he's off.
choreography. I would genuinely just think how difficult that must be to choreograph
Yeah.
that movement, because he's got to be stable enough on his feet, just the right moment that Benny loses his footing without pulling him in.
Yep.
That's actually not easy to do choreography wise, and it's perfectly done. And you've got Benny just looks like, sorry, Diefenbaker just looks
yeah.
over the grave and just like, it's just look as if to say, oh God, that doesn't look good. How are you going to get out there? And then he goes, oh, give us a paw. And he
He's like, give us a paw.
Oh, it's so adorable.
We love you, Deep.
We do love our Deep.
We do.
Great girl.
And then we never find out what he does with these guys locked up in the crypt.
We don't. No, we've seen them going before.
Do we?
You know,
Oh,
when
maybe
they
I
go
might-
out, you know, when they originally come out of the crypt
Yeah.
and they're walking away as if before they do
Yeah.
the frisbee thing, you see the them getting led off by the cops.
Oh, maybe I missed that when I was writing something down. So I have to do all the writing. So I
Oh
probably
God,
missed
that's gotta
that.
suck. I was just paying attention to the episode.
Well, sorry.
I
missed
mean, I
that
hate
bit.
to do all that
'Cause
writing.
I have been worrying
it's
about
great
them.
for me. I just call over stuff and stuff gets written down. It's great.
Yeah, I missed that bit.
Yeah.
And then they head back to the precincts, and Ray just. I found it really weird, actually. So finally these guys doing the interrogations, they get to speak to Ray, and they're accusing them of was it 9 kilos of cocaine or something
Yeah.
going missing, and he's like, that's not 10, that's a 1 and a smiley face.
Well, that's the thing. There's two really huge things about this. That defense is bonkers. but
Shocking.
he is so kind of like committed to it, and he also leads them to, well, look, but none of this matters actually. If he doesn't recognize me, which he knows he's not
Yeah.
going to, it's brilliant, a brilliant solution to the thing. Even though it doesn't really make sense, they wouldn't have a conversation about the fact that he's undercover. Anyway, but we won't even get into that. But the other thing is, it doesn't actually explain why our original Ray Vecchio
Yes.
did it.
What did he do?
There's never been an episode, never been a moment of Due South I can think of where they leave it ambiguous as to what happened in that way. And I mean, I think we're just led to assume that he's innocent and he's got a good explanation, of course. And you know that Ray Vecchio wouldn't smuggle cocaine. That's not, anything to do with his character. But it's kind of weird that we don't know why, unless there's something I'm missing here. If anyone knows why, if there's an explanation in the episode I'm missing, or in a previous episode where he checks in this cocaine, there's a reason why there's less than there should be. But as far as I know, we don't know why. And that's kind of brave. They're just trusting the watcher to just, we know that's good enough for me. We know Ray's innocent.
Yeah. So obviously they go to a lineup and they can't pick him out because he's not the original Ray, so they get away with it. So that's the end of that investigation.
I even like it when he's talking to them and he just basically goes right in the face and goes like, so why do we do it? And he just
it was so comedic, wasn't it?
He's already won at this stage. He knows that they're not going to be able to pick him out and line up, and he just wants to make him jump just to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
And it's like in all the process of it, it's like, I mean, they do a bit of a magic act with the new Ray that you never question that he's on the right side of things. I mean, in the first episode, they do establish, but it's like even Benny doesn't know who he is until the second episode. And the one thing we didn't talk about was when Benny reads out the citations. So like that's why like, because like you, to begin with, I'm going, well, why is he trusting this guy he's just met? When he reads out the citations, which show that he's read up on his record.
Yes, yes,
and he knows
yes.
he's a good guy. Because
Yeah,
as
we
soon
didn't
as,
say that.
because
Yeah.
it's perfect, of course, the second that Benton Fraser finds out he's working with a new man, of course he's going to look up a service record to check that he's a decent guy.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of homework which Benny does. So that I thought was a wonderful touch. Yeah, to have him reading out citations and everything. Because yeah, Benny's not going to leave his child.
No, and then we get to find out a bit more about him as a person as well.
Yeah,
and yeah, so it's really beneficial actually, that whole reading out of his history. We get to see what kind of a person he is. It kind of confirms to Ray that actually you're a good guy, because he's doubting himself and feeling a bit rubbish because his wife's just left him. And
but you know, I mean, I think that as much I enjoy the complex characters which they do on TV now, there is something about in the 90s and also the way the Due South specifically is written, but more of a trend at the time, is that you know, if there's a new regular character, you know it's going to be a good guy. You know, apart from some exceptions, which were great shows, most shows in the 90s where it's procedural, it's every week. You know, if there's new characters, new main character, they're going to be a good guy.
yeah.
So, like, I feel like we're going in with that trust in the second episode, but also he does play it very nicely that you don't know why he's there, but you trust that he's a good guy. There's just something about his presence which seems good.
Okay, we'll go with that.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's about it.
Well, hold on. I may have dropped my book, but
yeah, pick up your book.
no, I don't need to. I know what's in it.
Miss.
No, just at the end, I really loved the end bit. So everything's wrapped up, and then they're just celebrating Ray's birthday.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
And they're all wearing the party hats. There's a party going on the precinct, and it was just so funny to me because the only people that were actually invited to the party were people that know he's not the real Ray.
Yeah,
and it's not his birthday.
Actually, I didn't think of that. Yeah, no one would have been any the wiser because it's all his friends.
It's all the people that know he's not Ray, but
that's a really good
they
point.
still celebrated Ray's birthday.
Which is actually really nice.
It's nice.
But it's the fact that Walsh comes up with from the bombing for Trout, and he goes like, "It's actually harder than it looks." It's like the only thing I thought about that. I mean, I love it. It's still a great moment, but I did think maybe I wouldn't have given that to Walsh. Maybe I would have given it to. I mean, it's tough though because Tony Craig. I think his character wouldn't have done it. Whereas if you had his partner, either his previous or his future partner, I think they might have been. So it's like it's who else you could have got to do it, because like I think part of Walsh is that he is a high status character. He is the serious character. So it's taken some liberties with this character to have him doing this, whereas like every other episode you kind of shown this isn't what the kind of thing he'd do. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we also had Tony Craig's character with the pinata, and he's like, oh, I can do this. And he kind of like jumps up, foot in the air to kick it, and just falls on his butt. And
yeah. Well, you see, I think you can get away with that with him because he's the macho guy who'd be trying to do that at all costs and making an ass out of himself. But I don't think him or Walsh are more like, I don't think they're bobbing for Trout guys. You know? It might have been a good one to get Turnbull maybe to show up there. That would have been a nice one. But then you'd have to pay him for an episode just for like 3 seconds and one line.
Yeah.
But it was a great one. Okay, we got an episode? Right. So we've got some orders of business now. We're gonna sort some shit out. First of all, Michelle, can you give me the information I seek? Can you tell me what the moments of the week are?
That was a bit piratey there.
And thank you very much, of course, to Blaine Garrison, even though we're merely parodying his work, still present, I think, in the lyrics there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We captured him there.
Yeah, we did. So, Michelle.
Yep.
Stephen Baker moment of the week.
Oh, the flower arranging. The flower arranging on the grave for me.
Because I love the bit where he was Stephen Baker's clues. You know, when he pulled back, but it's got to be him rushing to the graveside of the dog. I'm going to pick the first moment just because it was so nice that he felt the empathy and he went to the graveside.
He's a sensitive being.
It was a sweet moment. It actually, quite a lot of the time, Diefenbaker moments do end up being funny and stuff. But we've had action Diefenbaker
Yes, we
moments.
have.
We've had
Yep.
dramatic Diefenbaker moments, and this is one of the more dramatic.
Yeah.
Actually, he's a really damn versatile dog.
He's
Like,
very versatile.
the amount of wolves, I should say,
Yeah.
and the amount of different ways in which they use him is actually like I don't think I was going to say like most of the time we pick a comical one, but we actually don't like overwhelmingly by
No.
far.
He's a talented wolf.
Best American of the week, Michelle.
American. I'm going to go for the guy that robbed the bank that Ray was after. Because he was an American.
Yeah.
And that's about it, really.
I'm going to say the woman at the graveside shooting the lead into her dead husband. Because
Oh,
Second Amendment.
okay.
Right there.
Okay.
So the most Canadian of the week, Michelle.
Oh, look at Willow just having a little stretch on camera there. Well, I was actually going to go for the old lady shooting the lead into the grave, but because she wanted a bit of Canadian that day.
Oh, right,
That's where I'm going with that.
I'm going to go for the old lady who shot the lead into the grave. I don't think I've ever done this. I'm going to pick someone, the same person for the most American and the most
Okay.
Canadian, which is within the rules. I think Blaine Garrison might have
Well,
done
we
it
make
in
the
one
rules.
episode. Yeah. But the reason why I'm going to pick her is because she was carrying out her dead husband's wish. She was being very cordial about it.
She
Like,
was.
even though to some that might have been a crazy request, she took it seriously. And I think Canada, one of its strengths is to take people's beliefs and to take people's cares seriously. So I think that's why she is both the most American and the most
Okay.
Canadian of the week.
Well, that is a first for us here
I
on.
think so. Yeah.
on Due
I
South
don't
by
think either of
Southeast?
us have done that.
No.
We've had guests who've done it, but that's the first time. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
Ooh. And Sarah Cook said, "The old lady shows you you're never too old to have fun and flair."
Absolutely, Sarah.
That's very true, Sarah. So the fun and flirty due south comes towards an end. Is there any other order of business? Have I missed anything? Like, it's been so long.
I think so.
Most American week, most Canadian of the week, and the
Deef moment of the week. That's it.
it's not. There isn't an actual best moment of the week, is there?
No.
No, we're not going to add new.
Let's
format
not start
points at
adding
this
now.
stage. I think we've got enough. I mean, I like the show. I mean, I love the show, but it's like, yeah, let's not add anything more at this stage of the game.
I think we're good. We'd have to get another tune or something as well, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would. We'd have to have new jingles and everything. It would be a nightmare. Anyway, I have been Detective Squeeze.
Sorry for your ears, people. And
With
dogs.
Me a pause.
Of
With me
course.
a pause. With me a pause has been Wolf Willow, which you can see a bum there.
You can see a bit of her.
And
Yeah,
my
she's not
foot-
moving right
yeah,
now.
you can see anything but her head.
Yeah.
And also joining me, who's the other one? Oh, Manu Michelle.
Well, mate,
Say
you
good
just
night
said
or
it. Good night.
Yes.
Good night. Have a lovely weekend, people.
Yeah, there you go. You know, just a bit of manners towards our fine listeners. So, Michelle, just imagine, just take flight fantasy with me for a second, if you will.
Okay.
Say these folks at home, which are watching us right now, say they've got or listening to us, because we don't want to exclude the people
No,
who are
no.
listening later on the podcast. But imagine, if you will, that they had a compass and they wanted kept pointed in some direction of their choice until next week. If you had advised them, if they asked you, what direction should they keep that compass pointed in?
I would recommend
What would you say, Michelle?
Due South by Southeast.
Good night. First of all, just quickly before we go, in a step out, we should do a Due South quiz again. That would be really cool. Just very quickly, just about the show. Sorry it's been so long since the episode. We
we're trying to do one a month, but just life gets in the way. But soon, I haven't told you this actually, but John, Armani John, as we know him and love him, has reached out about doing an episode about some exciting branding news about Due South and about maybe some products coming your way, which I know he's talked about a little bit, so I'm not portraying any confidence there. But yeah, we might have an episode soon where we talk to him about that. And quiz might be incoming at some point. Maybe there might even be some other exciting news about something coming your way. Perhaps maybe even for a 30th anniversary of... Oh, sorry, we're breaking up, guys. Bye. Take care.